G'day and welcome to A Down Under Yarn. Today is Friday the 11th of July 2014. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and I am your host Fiona, also known as Fifykins. If you find someone on the internet called Fifykins, it's probably me. And I'm a few days late. I do apologise. I've just had one of those weeks, but I'll get to that. I'm also the dyer behind Solar Flair Fibres. This is like take 3 or 4 because the dog has been very needy. So if she comes over and is needy again, I do apologise. What a week. Let's see, where do I begin? It was my birthday last Friday. So thank you all so much for the amazing best wishes that I was sent, the messages, the thread on the Down Under Yarn board, the response to the newsletter I sent out for Solar Flair Fibres with the gift voucher for newsletter people. That is still valid till the end of the month. And there are copies around on the Facebook page, I know that, the Solar Flair Fibres Facebook page. The people who gifted me patterns, just, yeah. I don't know, I just have this thing about my birthday. I don't necessarily like it. Excuse me, I'm just going to turn off my phone. I don't know, I just have this thing. It probably reminds me that I've made life decisions that I don't necessarily, haven't necessarily been the best from time to time. And I think that's probably what birthdays remind me of. But still, it's also a time people think they like to celebrate. So there you go. Mimel and I went out for dinner, which was really lovely. There was, again, confusion about the kids coming home. But I won't go into that here. And meant they weren't here for my birthday. So yeah. Tour de Fleece started on Saturday and I have been spinning quite a bit. I will get to that when we get to spinning. What else has happened? Kids came home Monday morning and then Jasper's been at drama school all this week because it's the last week of the school holidays, mid-year school holidays. So he's been at that. I have been trying to get stuff prepared for the Cairn show because the Cairn show's next week and entries closed. Entries have to be delivered today. So it's nothing like leaving things to the last minute. The show schedule came out, Fibercrafter's schedule came out probably about 6-8 weeks ago, and I just went, oh, that's good, that's good. And when I was in America, I got an email from them saying, hey, you haven't entered yet, entries close. And I think it said they closed on the 25th, whereas in the schedule it said the 27th. And I thought, oh, I might as well enter now. What have I got? And there are 15 things you can enter. So I've entered 4 dyed skeins of yarn, 1 hand spun from natural fibres, 1 hand spun from a blend, 1 item that had to be 3 aspects of Fibercraft. So I did dyeing, spinning and knitting. And I'll get to that one as well. Couple of few shawls, my 2 pairs of socks, and my what's it called top that I did last year for Camp Loopy. I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, so that was 15 items. Now I've got to get ready and tag them all. So I've been busy trying to get. Well, first of all, I've been trying to get everything done. The thing with hand spun is, it's not just spinning it. You have to have a sample of the fibre and you also have to have a swatch knit up, at least 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So I was knitting swatches last night. It's just been really, really busy trying to get that done. I've been waiting on a yarn order, which finally got here yesterday. The couriers around here, Anyway, apparently it came for delivery on Tuesday. I found the card in my box on Wednesday. And then yesterday again, the courier turned up with another package. And I'm thinking, is this my yarn order? I was tracking it and all it said was it had arrived in Australia. So I'm thinking, so went over there. Yes, it was my yarn order. So that was good. So that is here, and I will have a brand new base next week as well. I'm off to Bendigo next Thursday, which is very exciting. That's crept up on me, heading off to Bendy. I do hope to record before then on Wednesday evening, just a brief one, which will have an update for the shop, because I will be doing a shop update next Friday. There will be a shop update tomorrow, but I'll get to that a bit further down the track. What else? I think that's about it. Let's get into the knitting. Okay, finished objects. I have a finished object. Remember last week I showed you the fibre I'd dyed up? Well, I spun it up. Here is the rest of the ball. Look, it was very quick and dirty. It's 100% merino, which means it actually plumped up a lot and is really, really, really super duper soft. I'm happy with the colours. It's very pastel-y, very sort of ice cream sundae type colourways, with the pale green and the purpley mauve and the pink. So yeah, and that was just me throwing dyes in a pot that I had in the fridge, not knowing how it was really going to turn out, which is how most of my one-of-a-kinds happen at the moment when I've got leftover dyes. I've got a fair idea, and this one came out a lot lighter because I wasn't sure. I didn't look in my dyeing book. I had written on the outside what they were for, and I had a fair idea, but most of them were for hand paints, and I just put the dye in water. So anyway, and here is my flower in an hour hat. This is a Susan B. Anderson pattern. It was released, I think, last week, and I thought it would be perfect for this, and it was. It calls for an Aran or a chunky weight. I got, I think, between an Aran and a chunky. I mean, bits of it were probably worsted, DK worsted, and bits of it were super chunky, but I cast on for the largest chunky size, but on smaller needles, in between needles. So here it is. Look, I'm really pleased with it. The flower is really cleverly done. Really, really happy with that, and I can see myself just making more of the flowers to decorate things. It is a great little pattern. Yep, not much else I can say about it. There are details on my Ravelry page, but that will be going in the show, the can show. Now, I'm not entering. I'm entering to show what can be done as much as anything else, because a lot of people will enter things that there's lots of different people who enter for different reasons, and there's different categories and different skill sets. So it's always good to have different things to show people. So that is that. I have finished. The other finished spinning I have is I finished my Ixel Bunny. This I am entering in the show. I'm going to have to recount this again later, because by my calculations I got about 320 yards, and it looks awfully thin to be getting 320 yards from 100 grams. So it may be that I've lost quite a bit. I'm not sure. It may be that I miscounted, which is a high possibility, but I am really, really pleased with this. This is a merino, cashmere, angora and glitz blend. So this is going in the blended section. I've got lots of nice barber poling, and here is the little swatch that I knit up. So really, really pleased with that. I've still got to weave in the ends. I mean, that was on 3mm needles, and it seems quite drapey, and that's what I'd probably knit something like that on, which makes me wonder if I did count wrong for my yardage, because it took me long enough, and the plying took me long enough as well. So that is that. Works in progress. Seeing we're here for spinning, when I was at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse retreat, I took a class on woolen spinning. Now, I didn't have my wheel there, so I was really observing it. But I've come home and have been practicing. This is almost the first half of a braid of Into the World. It is 100% Rambouillet. Here's my spinning bag. I have broken the bits off, still I've got left of the first half, into smaller bits where I am spinning from the fold, which means I drape it over my fingers and pull it in there, and I've been pulling it back. Look, it's my first attempt. I'm okay with it. I'll see what happens, see what I get. It's spinning up quite thick and thin. Once it's plied and washed, because apparently Rambouillet just poofs, we'll see what happens with that one. I didn't actually spin anything yesterday. I was too busy knitting up swatches and finalising things, but I'll get back to that today. I figure that I've spun most of the second half of the Ixel Bunny this week, all of the merino and half of that. It's pretty good for me, seeing I was woefully behind in my Spin the Bin. The Exel Bunny is from Spin the Bin. This is from Spin the Bin. Spin the Bin is on the Completely Twisted at Arbitrary group. At the start of the year, we picked out 12 bumps of fibre that we wanted to spin this year. And the idea is if you don't spin them, you give them away. So, and if you take something out, you have to put 2 things in. So I know I've spun the merino, and there's another thing that I really want to spin. So I'm thinking of taking something out and replacing it, but I'm not sure if I will. I could just get to them as well. But I have now done January, February, March and April. This is May. And if I can get through June and July in the next couple of weeks, I think I'll be feeling a lot more satisfied with the way I'm going. Other things in progress. I had a bit of a revelation earlier in the week, and I knew that I wasn't going to finish my, I was going to say vodka lemonade, it's the sweater I've been wearing all week. It's been pretty chilly here. My pumpkin ale for Bendigo. And I thought that I could really go and push myself, but it just wasn't going to happen. This is how far I've got, and that was all up until Sunday, I think. I haven't actually done this since Sunday. I love the way it is knitting up. I've done the first lot of decreases. This is, it's hard to get a really good colour. It's the Spinel colorway from, I want to say Socks at Rock. Where is it? I've got the other skein just here. There we are. Yeah, Socks at Rock Heavyweight. 100% superwash merino, approximately 350 yards from 198 grams or 7 ounces. So that is that. I am dropping out of Camp Loopy. I love Camp Loopy, but I've also got to recognise that I've got enough yarn to sink a battleship here. And yes, I did need to get yarn to do this because I wanted to do this cardigan. And I always like self-striping socks because I did self-striping socks for the first project. But there are so many projects in my queue at the moment that I really want to knit that I've got yarn for, that I don't need to be buying another 800 yards worth of yarn just to win another skein of yarn, which would be lovely. But at the same time, I think I've just got to put my foot down and say, no, stop. So that's what I've done for this year's Camp Loopy. Everyone else who's doing it, I really encourage you to go for it. I've got some beautiful yarn from last year that I won from completing it, but I haven't used it yet. So, you know, it's that sort of... Anyway, that is one work in progress. I also have 2 things that I have cast on. The first one... Excuse me, I'm just leaning. I've thrown everything around. The first one... Let me do this one first. The first one... My scales have turned themselves on, I'm not sure why, so I'm just turning them off, is my, what's it called? Oh, sorry, it's Friday morning. You would think that I am actually with it. My tubularity. Now this is a Martina Bem pattern, and you may remember that I picked up all of the yarns for this at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse, and they're all the Zombie Knit Apocalypse colourways. So I've started it. Haven't got very far, but it's turning into my purse knitting. I've just cast it on a hat needle to begin with, because that's what I had handy. And this first colour is Undead. It's the Marigold Gen colourway. Undead Winifred. Knew it was Undead. I'm thinking Undead Fred. It's not Undead Fred. Undead Winifred, which is just beautiful. And I have all of the other colours in my beautiful Girl Caves bag. I think I have which order I'm going to be knitting them in, but that may change. So that is the tubularity. I'll be taking that to Bendigo, I think, along with a sock to work on. So that will be that. The other thing, my good friend Bunnyfish, who is Heather from the Bunnyfish podcast, put out a pattern a couple of weeks ago for the Magic Ball Shawl. S-H-A-W-L. The W is in brackets. Now, the Magic Ball Shawl, because we put together a magic ball a few months ago now. Now, I didn't get mine till I went over for the Zombie Knit Apocalypse, and it is just lovely. I think there were 6 or 7 of us who put in for it, so the main theme was green, any take on green. So that is what our magic ball looks like at the moment. And I cast on the magic ball shawl. It was peer pressure, pure peer pressure, and a hashtag. Hashtags always get me. So here it is to begin with. Now which way? That is the front side there. It is a lovely, lovely pattern. The lace work, you know, and I finally pulled it out a bit yesterday, is just beautiful. And it's going to block up so nicely. I know that the striped yarn, which is the blue and the bright green, is 716 knits. And that is a self-striping. I know that the other yarn, which is the brown and the lighter green, is a silk blend yarn. So I think I've done 5 repeats. I should get to about 30. It's sort of akin to a Martina Bem shawl where it does increase. So it ends up being a biased shawl type thing. I have half of the chart memorized, I think, now. So I'll see how much further I go with this. The idea is to knit this when I get into VKNs, if I can. So that is a lot of fun. Let's see. Now the other thing, VKNs. I always try and get into Joyce's VKN on a Monday evening, and a few times a week I try and catch up with a group of friends. However, if there's anyone that does want a VKN, let me know. Let me know if there's a set time or anything like that, because it's always nice to catch up with people, especially people you haven't necessarily hung out with before or met. So that is that. Acquisitions. I forgot about acquisitions last week, and I've just realised I've left 2 acquisitions. They're still sitting down in the car. I do have one here. So I have to show you the bag, because the bag is just awesome. I'm thinking, oh, I want to get some of these bags for me. I've got my fishnets order. Fishnets had a really, really lovely... There may have been more candy in this bag that is in there now, but still. Had a coupon code at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse, and also sent along several skeins of this, and I fell in love. This is the Zombie 10 self-striping. It is on the Strong Heart, which is a 2-ply fingering. Where are we? 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. It's really, really lovely, and it's sort of a gradient self-striping. So I will be casting these on soon. I'm not sure what to do, what socks to do, but I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing an afterthought heel, only because it's 10 stripes, and it's a lot of yarn to cut if you do a short row heel, because I like keeping the fronts of my socks going up. So we will see with that what we do. I've got an acquisition. I got my Into the World from last month, I believe it was. And I also have the last of the Downton Club from Yarn vs. Zombies. So they've arrived, and I will try and show them next week. What else? So there you are, Tess. I put my acquisitions in. I had a message that I forgot my acquisitions last week. Bit of an update as well. I made the realisation last weekend that next year's Stockinette Zombie retreat is going to clash with my daughter's Year 12 formal, or aka prom, and there's no way I'm missing that. So I have thought about things a bit, and she says to me, "So you're going to America, or are you going to my prom?" And I said, "I think I'm going to Union. Oh, good, but I want stuff from America." So our parents apparently accompany their children to the Year 12 formal. I discovered this out a few weeks ago, and I'm going, what? Anyway, so I will be here for that. I have thought about putting in to vend at SSK next year. I'm still thinking about that, and I'll see when that is going to be. But I think it might also clash with Bendigo and the Cairns show. So not sure what I'm going to do. I've got another few ideas popping around in my head as well. So that is that. Oh, that was the other thing I did this week. Oh my God, I didn't tell you. I'm thinking, the week was, my book work. I was a couple of months behind on my book work, keeping my books up to date. And of course, the end of June is the end of the financial year here. So I had to get everything done. And I made the realisation last night, I was thinking, I knew May wasn't a very good month. And I didn't think it was that bad. And I realised I've left out half my figures. Anyway, or over half my figures, because, anyway. So over the weekend, I sat down to do that. Now, when I say I was a couple of months behind, before that, the last few months that I'd done, I hadn't saved. And my computer was doing a restart at one stage and it said, do you want to save? And somehow I clicked on no. So I knew I had to redo those 3 months of figures. And I had them all here to do. So it was just data entry. So over the weekend, I sat down to do it again and somehow again lost it. So I just went, nah, that's it, I'm leaving it. Then on Monday, I came home to discover my electricity had been cut off. And I pay a set amount each fortnight, but apparently because I was about $100 behind, they cut me off. I got onto them and they were fine. They were really good about it and said, look, come back and reconnect you, yada, 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 whatever it is, that's fine. That's all sorted. Tuesday, I thought, I'm going to finally do these books. Mibble's been on nights all week, so we've been catching up for breakfast most mornings and things like that. And then I thought, when he goes off to work on Tuesday, I'll do the books. I had my laptop sitting right here. I was cooking dinner, and I was cooking sausages and lentils, where I actually cook the sausages in red wine. It's a beautiful Nigella Lawson recipe if you're looking for it. Sausages and lentils from Nigella Wines. Anyway, and I thought, I've got a bottle of wine open. Let's have a glass. So I came out with my glass of wine, put it down next to my computer. He turned up before work to have dinner. I said, dinner's almost ready. I'm just going in. And he goes, oh, and there was something, and I had to reach over. Yep, I went like that. The red wine went right over my computer, my laptop. Almost died. Went over some of my fibre as well, but that was fine. I'm okay with that. I lost a tiny bit of the merino, but I ended up, when I applied it, I think I had about 3 yards left of one bobbin, so it would have just been excess. So I'm not worried about that. Grabbed a nearby towel, blotted it up, and thought, what the heck am I going to do here? The trackpad was playing up. I couldn't get the trackpad to work. It was just going everywhere. We tried shutting it down. It would turn itself back on again. I was trying to get the wine out. I'm going, ugh. Nimble says to me, I've got the screwdrivers at my place that will open up your laptop. How about we head over there? I've got half an hour before I start work. We'll sort something out. I said, okay. So I gave dinner to the kids, said I'm heading over to Mimmels. We're going to sort out my computer. Put dinner in a basket for us to have. Took my laptop. I had it sitting on its side with a towel underneath, and there was still wine dripping out of it. And I'm going, oh, apart from what a waste of red wine. And I'm thinking, I know, I've just ruined my computer. I've ruined my expensive MacBook. And I'm thinking, it's not going to be covered by insurance. It's not going to be covered by extended warranty. What am I going to do? And I got there, and he says, now, I've just had a realisation, because Mimmel's all into electronics. He does all sorts of electronics. He says, had all sorts of realisations. He says, I've got some isopropyl alcohol, which is 98% alcohol, 99% alcohol. And I will... I've just got a phone call. It's okay. It's missed a call. I'll give them a call back. It's Imogen's work. Anyway, sorry. He says, I'll spray some of that on there and that will hopefully clear it out and dry it out. And I said, okay. So he lifted up my computer over the sink and started spraying it. And I could see the wine dripping out. And he goes, now you might want to look away now. And he's unscrewing the top. He poured the whole bottle of alcohol over my computer. And I'm like... Then the trackpad was still playing up, but we managed to shut it down. We connected a mouse and turned off the trackpad. We were able to... It was difficult to do, but we did it. And he says, I'm going to leave this here overnight. We're going to leave it on its side. It's going to dry out. The wine rinsed out. We could see the alcohol was just coming through by itself then. We rinsed all the wine out. And he says, you've got to trust me. It's going to work. And I'm like, ugh. So Wednesday morning, he got home from work and he texted me and he goes, hey, your computer's fine. Let's have breakfast. So it was fine. But then I had to get my bookwork done. So that took most of the day. Anyway, that was that. On to the shop stuff. There will be an update tomorrow morning. I don't have any of the yarns here. They're still downstairs drying. But there will be some crocus light, and some buttercup, which go beautifully together in a shawl. And there is some Big Sister. Now, all of those are on MCN. I do also have some one-of-a-kinds going up still from leftovers from the Knitpocalypse. So, I think that is about that. Don't forget to check out your birthday voucher that I sent off to you if you receive the newsletter. If you don't receive the newsletter, you can head to the Facebook page, and there is a link to it there, the Solar Flair Fibres Facebook page. If you aren't on Facebook and don't receive the newsletter, you can sign up for the newsletter, and I'm pretty sure when you do that, you can see past newsletters. I think that's about it. I've got to get all this stuff labelled and get it off to the showgrounds. We'll see what happens. It is what it is. So until next week, I will say, uru, cheers, bye.